Oh, welcome to the North West Highlands. And I'm in an area which is probably one of the best for hill walking in Scotland. Lots of Munros, lots of Corbetts, lots of Grahams, lots of fabulous walking. And I'm going up a hill called Scudavat tonight. It is now 3:30. Walk Highlands says this is a 5 to 6 hour route. So I might be coming down in the dark, so I really need to get going. But I'm going to talk about bagging today. I'm going to talk about Munros, I'm going to talk about Corbetts. And well, that's if I'm not rushing up here, because I really need to get up here. But there's an interesting reason about this hill, Scudavat, which has got me thinking about this, and I'll reveal it all later on. For now, I need to get shifting, stop filming, get my gear on and start walking. So the next time you see me, I'll be heading up the hill. Yeah, as promised, I've brought you back on the walk. I've been going for about, I don't know, 10-15 minutes. I'm just following this burn up. You see my mountain up here. I'm heading up there, so yeah, and let's not talk about bagging really, and there is a reason for that, which I'll tell you when I get to the top of this summit. The summit here, I suppose, is quite special in a number of ways when it comes to lists and Corbetts and Munros and all that sort of stuff. I'll give you more details later on, just because I'm really trying to hurry myself up, hence why I'm walking and talking today. So yeah, it's usually two groups of people, isn't there? You've got the people who are baggers, and there's the people that don't see the point of bagging, and I think, and just, oh, what's the point of doing that and just going out, and please don't think this is me being serious. My tongue is firmly in cheek here, but both groups are a bit elitist at times, aren't they? And I count myself as being in both groups at certain times. You know that I completed the Corbetts and the Munros a few months ago, so I definitely fall into that group. And sometimes, like today, I just like getting out. So different groups, different thoughts. People who do the Munros think they're better than the Corbetts because they've been up more hills and they've got a purpose and all that sort of stuff. And then you've got another group of people that are just too good for that sort of thing. And why would you want to do that and follow lists and conform to the norm? And yeah, as I said, I go into both those groups, but we'll talk a bit more about that in a wee while. I'm just going to shut up now because there's cows ahead of me, and I'm just I've got the fear of cows, you know that, and don't want to upset them. So I'm going to put the camera away just now, and I'll bring you back and talk a wee bit more about the Munros and the Corbetts and the Grahams and the Donalds and the Archies and the Marlins and the Fionas and this and the top 5 lists that your son's picked for you and all stuff like that in a wee while. So for now, let's just shut up. Let's get going. Past these coos. There are so many fantastic mountains around about here. I'm in Glen Shield, by the way, towards the bottom end. So I started not far off sea level and not far from the start of the saddle on the Forkin Ridge and Skirnaskeen and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, I mean, you've got things like the South Shield Ridge, which is just here actually. In fact, the mountain that I'm going up, which is dead ahead, you might actually tag that on, and I'm sure if it was a Munro, it's not, it's 30 metres short of Munro, but I'm sure if it was a Munro, it would be added on to either the South Shield Ridge, the 7 Munros, it would make it 8, or the round of the saddle and Skirnaskeen. But it's not. And I think this path that I'm on just now isn't dedicated for this hill. It's dedicated for the Munros. And I think once I come off this path might deteriorate because this isn't a Munro, I'll not see as much footfall as the Munros because that's the way we are. It's certainly the way I was, and I've talked about this before in the past, that when I started out, if I'd already done the hill, I'd be reluctant to go back up it. And just in my quest to bag the Munros. But anyway, don't want to go into that. But yeah, loads of famous mountains around here. You've got Kistidu, the Black Coffin, or the Black Chest, or something like that. You've got the Brothers Ridge, the Fife Sisters of Kintail, that hill over there. Up there's the Five Sisters of Kintail. But you can't see them because this blooming clouds come in. Believe me or not, it was dry the whole way up. Sod's law. Anyway, hence why I'm taking my time now. I might be coming down in the dark, but it might clear if I give it more time to do that. So anyway, we'll talk a wee bit more about the hills, but I just wanted to report there and tell you where I was and all the famous mountains that are around about here. What a place. Right, onwards we go. Right, that's me on the ridge now. Came off the path and just kind of battered up. Over to your left, you can see that's the South Shield Ridge with the 7 Munros. You can see it's really close. And yeah, if this was a Munro, you can see why people would just continue up, but they don't. They cut off here and miss this peak out, which has been fabulous so far. I'm also getting great views over to the Sisters of Kintail. And down this way, I think these are the hills and Munros to the north of Loch Quaich, and I should get views over to Knoydart, hopefully, when I get to the top here if the cloud clears. It's certainly improving, the rain's off, and things are looking good. So yeah, let's crack on and maybe get a wee bite to eat at the top. Any guesses as to what I've brought with me from my tea? You only get one guess. Right. I'll bring you back in a wee while. Let's go. I've got my hood up. Just gives me a wee bit extra warmth. I feel a bit chilly. It's quite atmospheric. I don't know if you can make out the clouds kind of swirling around me, coming and going. And nearly at the top, just over the cloud there, that's the top I'm headed to. And beyond that, this summit's connected to another top, sort of towards Kinlochhourn actually, or certainly that's the way I did it before, which is quite significant, but I'll tell you about that when we get to the top. It's all linked to why this peak is a bit unique for lists and baggers and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I suppose the question is, what makes us do it? Why was I obsessed in getting to all the tops of the Munros and not coming up this fine peak here? You know, it's been a lovely walk. The views have been stupendous. And it's only a shorter detour off the end of the South Shield Ridge. So now let me know what you think. You know, if you're a Munro bagger or a Wainwright bagger, or I don't know, a Corbett bagger or anything like that. What drives you to do it? What's the need? Is it to be able to say that you've done it? Gives you a purpose of going out? All these things I've thought about, and I suppose have come across my mind in the past as well. So anyway, right, one final pull to the top. There's about another 100 metres of ascent to go, and I'll be there. So I'll bring you back at the top of this mountain. Let's go. It's almost got a way to say this Corbett. That may be a wee clue to about a wee Freudian slip as to what I'm going to talk about. Ah dear. Anyway, all the suspense. Let's go. And here we are on the summit of Skurnavak, Hulish, and this used to be a Corbett, and it was a joint Corbett. Let me tell you a wee bit more about that, and this is what makes this hill, I think, pretty unique. Let me just get my coat on though, because I'm a bit chilly. Great views into Knoydart as well from here. It's absolutely beautiful. But anyway, let me tell you about this hill. Cozy first. We have a wee seat down here, hopefully you can see me. Oh, this is lovely, what a cracking hill. So yeah, those hills behind me, they're actually Munros. That's, is it Skinna? It's the one you do with the saddle and the fork and ridge, and you can drop down onto this one. I think it means knife edge or something like that. But anyway, it's not those ones that make this hill unique. It's a hill over here, I think it's Buoy Ven or something like that, or it's a Corbett. And let me just tell you how high it is. So this hill that we're on right now, 885, and Bouven 885. So until about, I think it was 2013, these were both, they couldn't decipher which was higher, so they were joint Corbett's, so you had to do them both. But then in, I don't know, yeah, let me just see. I'll ask my friend Google. Here we go. So this is Google Skurovac Hoolish. It's 30 metres short of Monroe status, and it's the forgotten peak. And that's kind of what I was saying. You know, if this was Monroe, you'd definitely be doing this with the Glen Shiel 7. Anyway, what it says here is a survey as technology got better by a pair of hillgoers discovered that this was actually slightly lower than Bennevue, I think, or I can't remember. Anyway, the other one. It was a chap called John Barnard and Graham Jackson, and along with the late, great Andy Nesbitt and Dave McGimsky of the Scottish Mountaineering Club, they spent hours measuring the heights of the two hills. Let me just see. I think they found a spot on one of these hills which was higher or lower, and it was the actual top of the hill. And anyway, long story short, this with the developments in technology getting better, they found that this one was slightly smaller than the one over there. I'll put a link to that one in the description below, because I did that from Kinlochhorn. It was a beautiful walk. You can see right down Lochhorn towards Larven. It's fantastic. Anyway, I think it's the same. It was around about the same time that these guys also measured Knight's Peak in the Coolin. I mean, that's another area. Most people finish the ridge on Scoornagillion, but it actually continues round. But because it's not a Monroe, people don't go to it. But anyway, they also discovered that Knight's Peak, which I think is on the Scoornagillion's pinnacle ridge, it was originally thought to be a Monroe top, and then it was just too low. They again measured it. And another one, I think, Knockconach as well, they measured that, and that was actually promoted to a Corbett. So, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that they're going to change again? I think they will. So, again, that can ask the question if you're bagging the Monroes. Monroe himself, I'm sure there's maybe 30, or 20 or 30 Monroes he classed as Monroes, which are no longer on the list. So, why are they still called Monroes? You know, and if there's going to be more added or demoted. Oh, am I opening up a can of worms here? There's people shouting at the telly at me. There's people saying, they're all Monroes or they're all Corbetts. I don't know. But I remember in geography being told that Scotland's actually rising while the south of England's sinking, because when the ice sheet melted at the last ice age, the weight of the ice meant that the ground was able to rise. So does that mean some of the Corbetts that are Corbetts now might actually be Monroes in a few years' time? Oh man, this is beautiful. The views are fantastic. I'm going to go and have my tea now, and I'll bring you back again and just show you some of the peaks. Oh. Guess what, Andy? Oh yeah, Tesco's finest Scotch eggs. Going to be Tesco's finest. Now you can see I'm still holding out hope for the sunshine. I've still got my blooming sunglasses on my head, but yeah. Monroe, or should I say Corbett or no Corbett, this is a special mountain. The views you get from here are just amazing. You see down into Knoydart. Obviously you've got the Saddle, Scoornaskeen, close to us, the Glen Shiel ones that I was talking about. And over the back of Glen Shiel you've got the Glen Affric area, and the Isle of Skye is a bit further on there. I can see some of those peaks. These ones here, it's Knoydart. You can see why it's called the Rough Bounds. It really is just rough. I suppose we're right on the edge of it here. You just get a feel for it. It's just a really rugged area, special area, Knoydart. And as I said, yeah, back this way you've got the hills on the north side of Loch Cuich, and then the South Shiel Ridge there, Ben Aidan. There's just so many. It's a beautiful, beautiful spot. So yeah, if you're doing the South Shiel Ridge, or even if you're doing these Monroes here, it's not much of a drop to get to the top of this one. It's well worth the effort. I'll maybe drop off now. I'm going to make a loop of it actually. I was going to head straight back down the way I came, but seeing as it's getting a wee bit better, I might just go down and make a loop. And on the way down, I'll maybe discuss a wee bit more about the Munros and the Corbetts and why we like to make lists and what have you. And who knows? I might do, I might not. Right, let's go. I'll bring you back in a wee while. Let's get off this hill. So just a very quick bit to camera. If you're coming off this route, but the path does come down very steep. This is behind me, it doesn't look too bad there, but it is very steep. You see the path kind of going down there. You do not want to trip here, because you quite easily could trip looking at these views, but yeah, it's super steep, so you just have to be careful. So I'm going to put this away, get down safely to there, and then we skirt back round into the quarry, and I'll bring you back later on. Okay, let's go. Concentration required. Okay, so I think that's me making my way off now. It was quite steep coming down there, so if you are copying this route, just bear that in mind, that the descent is super steep. Anyway, back to the lists and the Corbett. So I suppose my point is, back in the day, I mean, I didn't do that Corbett, the one that is now deemed to be higher, until towards the end of my Corbett round, so I didn't have to go up that one. I did have to research it because some of my books were old. That's another thing, the old books still say that you might have to do both of them, or yeah, I'm not sure, what would you do? Anyway, I think had I done this earlier in the round, I would have done both of them, but I suppose what I'm getting at is 10 years ago, 15 years ago, that was a Corbett, and I would have seen a lot more footfall, so why not go to it now just because it's not on a list? What makes us kind of, I don't know, make these decisions just to go up hills that are on lists and ignore the other ones? Because that's a cracking wee walk, by the way. It's lovely wee mountain. The views, as I said, are just absolutely fabulous. They're still fabulous. Look at this magnificent skin there. Can't pronounce it, but anyway, it's just another Munro. It's wonderful. Anyway, let me know what you think. If you do bag, why do you bag? If you don't bag, or if you started bagging and you gave up, why did you give up? Was it because you got more out of the hills, just it wasn't the bagging that fulfilled your needs or gave you the buzz, it was just getting out and about in the fresh air or something like that? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. Right, I really need to get my head down and head down here. I've got to go all the way back down yonder, and it's going to be dark in a few hours. So what I'll do is I'll bring you back in the van in a minute or two to give you a synopsis of what I thought of this wonderful mountain. Skjørnavak Holush, I think is pronounced. Right, let's go. Bring you back soon. Yes, me back at the van. And a lovely wee mountain. What were the stats? Let's have a look and see. Stato. 11.2 kilometres, so it wasn't very far distance wise, so it was perfect for a half day like today. It took me 4 hours 35 with filming and stopping and all that jazz, and a total of ascent of 918 metres. What a fantastic wee hill it was. So not a Munro, not a Corbett anymore, just a really nice mountain with fabulous views, as you saw, down into Neudart and all that sort of jazz. But yeah, as I said, it just got me thinking, because it was once a Corbett or a half Corbett. Just there's so many variables, isn't there? The lists change as well. As I said, Munro's, Sir Hugh Munro's original list is vastly different to the 282 Munros there are now, and I think when I started there was 284 Munros. Anyway, that's by the by. It just intrigues me what made me that sort of obsessive way back in the day, and why was I driven to do it? I mean, it's good, don't get me wrong. I've talked about this before. There's so many positives to come from being addicted to them. I'm just addicted to the hills, irrespective of lists and what have you now. I'm sure there's a name for that. Again, tell me in the comments below what the name for being addicted to mountains and hiking and all that sort of stuff is. But anyway, I'm going to shut up. I'm going to end the video here. I'm going to settle down. I've got the iPad, just watching some YouTube videos that I've downloaded. So yeah, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you next week for another adventure. Right, let's see what's on YouTube.